Hi everyone, welcome back to another video, and in this one I'm going to be replacing the bushes in the steering column because quite a bit of movement. Now I've tried tightening up the bolts to see if it was just loose, but no, it's definitely coming from the bushes. So when I accelerate, I'm getting a lot of vibration. It's got worse and worse, and it's got to the point where I'm not comfortable driving it. So I've got a bush set here, under £10. Get all this off, and hopefully the splines at the bottom will all be in good condition and there's no wear on them, and it can just be a case of replacing the bushes. Now before I even started, the battery has been isolated with my isolator. If you don't have that, just disconnect the earth wire because you're dealing with electrics under here, and the steering wheel and front wheels are facing forward so that you know you're putting the steering wheel straight back on. Right, first thing I am going to do is get the shroud off here. Now there's one screw here and one on the other side, and it should just split apart. And they will literally just lift off. I've got the little camera and I'll show you where these screw onto in case anyone's never taken them off. So from this view you can see here there's a tab that it screws into on this side, and right there, same on the other side, and it is basically one screw through the hole here and there. It really is that simple. It basically then gives you access to the wire harnesses. So we need to follow each of these three harnesses back to underneath here and unplug them. If you're not comfortable with where they go, label them, take plenty of pictures. Right, coming from the steering wheel, following the wires down, your three looms. Well, these are obviously the indicators, lights, window wipers, etc. They all come from the control here. This is all coming off, so we've got 1, 2, 3, and like I say, the take a photo, mark each one up where it goes where. It just saves one thing less to worry about when you're clicking them back on. And while you're here, just keep an eye on any wires. There's no breaks or tears or anything like that. But yeah, let's get these off. Just like that. And these can sit tucked out the way until they're ready to go back on. Next, onto the bottom of the column, all the way down, there's a bolt that goes through. It's a pinch bolt, so you tighten it and it basically squeezes it against the lower part. So the carpet needs to come out the way and the mat. And these are glued down, so I'll need to re-glue them once I'm done. But yeah, they do get in the way. Just enough to get in. I'm not going to pull the carpet all the way back because I don't need to. So in here you can see the bolt either side, one to hold, one to turn, and just completely loosen it off. This will be tight, depending how long it's been in there, it will be tight and it will give a struggle to come off, or in my experience previously it has at least. But I'll loosen that one off first, then we'll come up to the top and we'll try and face this shear bolt, which I've not had a good experience with before in other minis. try that there. Yeah, that's well loose. So the one that I'm not looking forward to is this, the shear bolt. Basically it's a safety bolt put in to stop people stealing the Mini. Yeah, we all know how that worked. But basically it's a bolt here that goes all the way through. I'll need to take off this wire, but there's no edge on here to get a bolt on. It's basically, shear bolt came to here, and when it's tightened up it snaps off and it leaves this. Like I say, it's a safety security thing. A few different methods: cutting a hole in it, a slit in it, untightening it, or drilling it. I ended up drilling it out last time, so I'll go and give that a go off camera. There's not much room at all in here for me to film it, and I'll come back and I'll explain as I'm going what I've done or what I've not managed to do. So as I said, I've loosened this off to get this wire off. But obviously it goes on there and comes off. So again, I'm going to hang that to one side, and all that's left holding this on now is a shear bolt. First attempt at getting this pinch bolt off is just getting an angle grinder and cutting 2 grooves in. Unfortunately it's deep enough, I'm getting grip, I just can't get enough purchase on it to get this to turn. Plus it's fairly solid, so I'm going to try and find a bigger screwdriver and get some penetrating fluid on this side here and give it another go. Otherwise this is either going to have to be drilled or cut out, but I don't want to cause any damage to the actual bracket. Right, I was getting nowhere cutting these slits and access was terrible with a drill, so what I decided to do is I just got the angle grinder, cut the head off. I then just got a punch, put it through here, tap to a hammer, and bingo. It comes out the other side like that. Obviously this is where I've cut, and this was the other side. So then that basically means it can all pull loose. So the only thing holding it in is down the bottom here. It just needs pulled up a yank towards that direction. When the shear bolt is off, this bracket here will slide up and down. Do yourself a favour and tape it on, because it will drive you crazy by the time it keeps sliding down to the bottom. The only thing holding this on now is where it's attached to the steering rack at the bottom. Now it's been there for many years, so it can stick quite a bit. Either a pull up in the direction without injuring yourself, or sometimes, as I found last time, I need to use leverage at the bottom to just pry some of it out, which I might have to do again. Let's see. And it's out. Let's have a look at these bushings. So I'm pleased to say the splines on both the rack here and the column over here look really good. There's no mashed up metal, no shavings. That one needed a bit cleaned, but yeah, looks like it's just going to be the bushings, and I've got away with spending some more money. Okay, the rack is out. I'm basically going to undo this screw here to loosen off the stock for the indicators and lights. Right, with the steering wheel off, just one nut pulled off and the indicator stock out the way, we can get a look at the top bush here, and as you can see it's all cracked and brittle. So just a case of getting this one off and getting the new one in. well this is going to come off. It's obviously supposed to be tight. There we go. All cracked along the top. And the new one is just, as you can see, like for like. Before I put the new one on here, I need to feed this whole area through here and it'll come out so that I can get to the bushes at the bottom. You can see possibly down here is where these bushes are, and I need to get in to compress these slightly to pull it out, and I can then add the new ones in, add the top one in, and just do everything I've just done in reverse. So, quick yank, gets it off, and you can see pretty chewed up there. Not as bad as the top one, but yeah, pretty chewed up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get some degreaser and clean some of the muck up off here and get the new bushes on. Okay, I've given it a clean up and I'm just going to now get like for like replaced. So just as it comes off, put it back on. Make sure the shaft is clear, and that it's all going in square. This does compress slightly here, so it can be squeezed to push it in here. Compress this part here, it'll make it easier going in, so I can compress this and possibly tap it down with a small hammer into place, then it'll hold it a lot better. Right, both bushes are in, bottom one first, tapped in there. Maybe a slight smear of grease would help it go in. Same with the top one, and it's solid. In comparison to the two that came out, this one in particular was cracked all the way at the top, which obviously would give it movement, and the bottom one was all shearing away as well. So, well overdue replacement. I now need to get the steering stock, or the indicator stock, steering wheel, everything back on assembled, and I can then look at getting the splines offered up and offered up back to the car. So I'm going to build up the column back off camera because it's just the same as when I took it off, and I'll come back once it's built and ready to go back in the car. And that's it all back together, the reverse of how I took it off. Being careful with the bit lining up the splines on the bottom. You loosen off the U-bolts to give a little bit of play and make sure that it goes in square. If it doesn't, you're going to damage the splines and you're going to lose your steering. Other than that, everything else is reverse, and as you can see, no movement at all, which is problem solved. I just wanted to add a bit into the video here just to correct a mistake I made during the procedure. What I didn't do at the time was add grease to the outside of the bushes as they went in the column. What this meant was that when I went to steer, the steering was really tight because there's no lubrication and the friction was catching between the bushes and the column. So I've since been back, corrected that, added the grease, and it now works a treat. It drives really well, there's no vibration at all from the steering column, and this, what I'm filming just now, is filmed quite a bit after the footage you've just seen, so the job, fiddly, inexpensive and well worth it, so yeah, I'm glad I've done it. hopefully you got something from the video, and I'll leave that one there. So as always, take care, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers!